And next up at UFC Fight Night, Bautista taking on Oliveira. We've got Farid Basharat taking on Jean Matsumoto. Great fight here, Carlos. Who you got in this one?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Jean Matsumoto to get it done. I just like him. I like the way I like the way he's striking. I like the way he stops takedowns. I think he has good wrestling. He's able to create the separation to get back to his feet. He attacks the lead leg. Love the calf kicks. Good cardio. Good striking. I think Basharat, he leaves some openings, he leaves some gaps that maybe Matsumoto's going to be able to take advantage of. And that's not to say that Basharat's not an animal. Like the guy, he can do everything too. And I think that on the feet, his striking is probably a little bit more physical. It looks like he strikes a little bit harder, a little bit sharper, and I think he's a little bit more accurate. I think that's also something that Matsumoto's going to start to develop a little bit later. Um, that's more of, I think, of an experience thing with him. I think, not that he's too young to not be experienced to do it. I just think that he's gotten away with coming forward, throwing his strikes, and just having a little bit of movement, whereas Basharat has probably picked it up late a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more athletic, and his technique just looks a little bit sharper. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's just a little bit more accurate than Matsumoto is. And yeah, it's a tough one because I think this is close. I'm just going to give the edge to Matsumoto because what I saw in the Rob Font fight is when he started mixing it up, he was getting tagged with some shots. Rob Font, he's got some. He's got a good shot. He's got some good pop in that weight class. And Matsumoto kept coming forward, and he was looking for takedowns. He was looking to mix it up with them, and that was on short notice. Now, I don't know if it makes a difference because they're both young. I think Basharat's 28, he's 26, so they're all pretty much around the same area. And I think that he just wants it. I think he's hungry. I'm not saying Basharat isn't. I just think Matsumoto wants it more. He's ready to mix it up. He's ready to get hurt to hurt people. And yeah, I'm gonna go with him. I think he's a little grittier. I think he's a little bit more of a dog, and he's gonna get in Basharat's fate. So going with him.
Yeah, I contemplated going with Matsumoto here, and I kind of see it the same way. I think if he's going to want to get the victory, he's got to make it a kind of a greasy, dirty fight where he kind of shoots in for takedowns and doesn't get it and kind of stomps on the feet and gets in the guy's face and really just kind of gives one to get one. I think if it's a pretty fight, I think that suits Farid Basharat here. That's why I'm going to pick him. I think, as Carlos mentioned, rightfully so, in that Jean Matsumoto versus Rob Font fight, when he did decide to mix it up and kind of give one to get one, he was able to get tagged by Rob Font. And I think with Basharat here that he's going to be able to capitalize, with a slight height and reach advantage, kind of picking, prodding. And I see this fight kind of playing out how the first Volkanovski versus Lopez fight played out. And that's in the sense that, again, I think it's close. I agree with Carlos. I think it is going to be close. But I think what's going to happen is Basharat's going to be dancing around on the outside, picking, prodding, scoring points with the judges, occasionally shooting in for takedowns. Maybe, Matsumoto gets up straight away. But he's going to be kind of the one that's kind of being the matador while Matsumoto's being the bull here. And I think he's going to have to cause car crashes. And I think that Basharat's going to be on his P's and Q's and doing enough to be able to get the victory. I think if it's a slugfest that Basharat decides to oblige, I think he's probably going to lose that fight. I think, as Carlos mentioned, that Matsumoto is a guy that can, bite down his mouthpiece. He is a little bit grittier. So I think that fight definitely suits him. But I think Basharat comes in here with a smart game plan. He's going to get walked down. Matsumoto is definitely a guy that's going to get in his face, but I think Basharat is going to do enough just to be able to kind of capitalize on certain holes, certain openings that Matsumoto is going to leave by being overzealous and overly aggressive. If it's a technical kickboxing match, I think Basharat wins that all day. I think if Matsumoto comes in here, kind of looks at the Miles Johns fight, kind of looks at the fight he had against Rob Font and says, hey, let's stay technical, let's not be as aggressive, I think that's going to suit Basharat. I think he needs that style that he's shown in his last two fights to come in here and be overly zealous, overly aggressive here. I think that'll probably suit him here against Basharat, but I don't see it. I think Basharat's going to dance around on the outside, pick prod, and ultimately get the unanimous decision victory. A boring win for Basharat. I am on the side of hoping that Gene Silva does well, especially in this division. I like him as a fighter. I've picked him in the past, but I have a feeling here that Basharat's game plan here at American Top Team is going to serve him well.